Ryan lost everything last year, not in the stock market, not in a bad deal. It happened in one conversation with the one person he trusted most. And by the time he realized what he'd said, the damage was already done. That night, sitting across from his elderly mentor, Samuelson, he expected another lesson about investing and saving. Instead, Samuelson leaned forward and said something that stopped him cold. The fastest way to weaken your finances isn't always spending. Sometimes it's talking. Ryan frowned. Talking? Samuelson smiled. Let me show you 5 financial secrets that should almost never leave your mouth. The first one is simple. Never tell people exactly how much money you have. Ryan looked puzzled. Why? Samuelson chuckled. The moment people know your financial position, they stop treating you the same. Some suddenly need loans. Others expect expensive gifts. Relatives assume you can solve every problem. Even business partners negotiate differently. Money doesn't just attract admiration, it attracts expectations. Ryan's stomach tightened. He remembered the dinner party 6 months ago. The wine, the boasting, the exact number he'd casually mentioned when an old college friend asked how his startup was doing. The eyes across the table widening, the sudden shift in tone. Samuelson raised another finger. The second secret is even more dangerous. Never reveal your financial goals before you've achieved them. Ryan laughed. But doesn't telling people keep you accountable? Samuelson shook his head. Sometimes, but more often, it backfires. There's something psychologists call substitution. When you announce a goal, your brain gets a premature dose of dopamine. It feels like you've already accomplished something. So the drive to actually do the work fades. On top of that, you invite opinions, endless criticism that drains confidence. Dreams are fragile. They grow stronger in silence. Ryan's face went pale. He remembered sharing his expansion plans over drinks, the new markets, the millions he was projecting. He'd been so proud. Then his momentum stalled. The excitement faded. Samuelson's voice dropped. The third secret. Never reveal your biggest financial weakness. If you're drowning in debt, if you're desperate for money, if one failed investment has left you terrified, choose very carefully who knows. Desperation changes negotiations. The moment people know you need money more than they do, the price is no longer determined by value. It's determined by your fear. Ryan opened his eyes. Something was clicking into place. Fourth, never advertise your generosity with money. Samuelson leaned forward. When people know you're the one who helps, they don't just appreciate it, they plan around it. Every family crisis becomes your responsibility. People start circling. And the moment you say no, you're the villain. Not because you changed, because they built expectations around your kindness. The richest person in the room isn't always the one everyone thinks is rich. Sometimes it's the one who keeps their generosity invisible. Help when you choose, never when you're expected. Samuelson leaned in close. The fifth secret. Never tell everyone how you made your fortune. Ryan blinked. He remembered the late-night conversation, the supplier he'd discovered, the strategy that gave him an edge. He'd shared it all. Then the competitor appeared. Same supplier, same strategy, same clients. Within months, his business was gutted. Ryan's heart sank. He finally asked the question he'd been avoiding. Who was the competitor? Samuelson didn't answer. He didn't have to. Ryan replayed every conversation, every celebration, every careless confession. Then, one face refused to leave his mind. The friend who had always asked one more question than everyone else. It was him. All of it had been data. Every word he'd spoken had been a brick handed to someone who used them to build a wall between Ryan and everything he'd built. He hadn't lost his fortune to a bad investment. He'd lost it to his own mouth. Ryan walked away with one realization that changed the rest of his life. Money isn't protected only by good investments. Sometimes it's protected by silence.